All right. For anybody out there that's watching, welcome to the City of Harrison Finance Committee meeting.
You're supposed to say to the thousands of people that are out there watching.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it's probably just grubs watching.
if even him. So this is water and wastewater. So this is the proceeds,
Mm-hmm.
the loan that we did. So
Yeah.
you know, we don't really ever account for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little distortion. But these negatives up here are for the water.
Okay.
So a little more than what we anticipated in water. Little less in wastewater. So if you want to know that, I can get with Jim.
Does that look unusual? Because I thought they would go hand in hand.
We have more wastewater. Is that right, Karen? Wastewater employees that are wastewater customers than water, because not everybody receives city water. Some of it is Cincinnati. So I have to go back and look. We have more wastewater, so it could be that some of the ones affected by COVID are hitting the water where it's not hitting the water. To me, it is a little distorted overall.
Yeah. You don't think the revenue on the water side could be part of that billing issue that they recognized earlier in the year, is it? That will eventually back itself out?
It could be, because
Okay.
I know they're still feeling the effects of that.
Okay.
So it very well could be. I don't know the type of customers that were affected versus the other type, what the number is.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, I would think they would trend in the same direction. Obviously less water, less sewage or wastewater. And I'd understand wastewater being down, because obviously if you're larger businesses, you have less people on site, you're going to use less water. But with the revenues being up significantly.
My calculations or my issue is this here. If we have more tap fees, then we have more customers. So
is it because they're like, do they turn up tap fees when they first do a building before occupation or occupation before occupancy or something? So
they have to pay those tap fees in order to tap into the line. So that's done before the occupancy. Yes.
Right.
But I mean, tap fees are what, $30,000 a piece for big developments going in here. So I'll talk with Jim about that, because that's the part that concerns me. Also, I'll talk with him about this. Maybe we aren't estimating in correct proportion either, which would throw it off.
Okay.
That's property tax. This one's higher, that one's lower. We've been having a lag with them coming in, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Okay. What do you mean a lag? A lag in payment or just a lag in the reporting or the receipt from the county?
Well, the county has to send it out in the period that it's received. So it's a lag of them paying the taxes, period.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And that started last year. So, this is the Muni Funds. This is actually, we didn't budget for it, because it took them several months to get it to us. So this is actually from 2019.
okay. Is that the additional gas tax money?
No,
Or no, that's something different.
totally different. I'll show you the gas tax money, which I haven't broke it out from previous years yet. That's on the to-do list with all of the stuff that we did last night and getting the information to the county.
Okay.
Hotel tax, I'm not really surprised it being down. So
Yeah.
this is our COVID money.
Excellent.
Not really surprised with senior center. They're not here. They're not going to be paying.
Right.
We haven't did the transfers yet, so that's not surprising. This is the sale of the EMS. So we weren't really budgeted for that. We haven't did the transfer here yet, so you'll see those on the December report. This is our property tax money. Okay, so where you will see the additional gas tax is right here.
Okay.
We didn't budget for it until 2021. We started moving it in. I still have to move it out of here along with a portion of it from this line here. And then it will be right. We started separating that out in July of this year.
Okay. Now, didn't we wasn't it discussed that a portion of that money would be used for the May drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the negative 55,000 there is what we've been getting since middle of the year or whatever?
Yes.
What about, we only thought it would be 330 on the line item above that as well, and we got 530?
Yes. So
Wow.
because we weren't budgeting, we didn't budget when we did the budget in 19 for 20, we did not budget for the increase in gas tax at all because we were not sure if it was really going to pan out with the estimates that we were given. So the finance committee at the time opted not to put it in to see what the trend was, whether it was really, because they were telling us we were going from around 400 and some thousand to 650,000 between this line item and this line item. So we opted not to put it in because if it didn't pan out, we didn't want it out there with and putting expenditures towards that and getting in a bind. So it is running. There's 531 there and 43 there. So we will hit around. Actually, we just received it on Monday. Between the two, it was 50, either 52 or 54,000 and change. So we're going to hit over 600, but not quite the 650. Weren't expecting this at all. That's the premiums and dividends from BWC.
Does that include the large one we were expecting in December?
No, we haven't received it yet. So they told us mid-December. So I'm suspecting, I checked our bank accounts today, but they were actually going to send it in the mail. So I'm expecting anywhere from the rest of this week to before Christmas, I'm hoping, but we haven't received it yet.
Okay.
Because that will increase that over 600,000.
Yeah, I was thinking.
The actual check, we'll put the full revenue in as the 600 and some thousand that we're supposed to get, but the actual check, they are taking out our 2021 premium. So the actual check will be the 600 plus minus $121,145 and some change.
But we account for that for next year's budget, right?
That's accounted for in this year's expenditures because we have to
Okay.
that we paid for it on January 3rd. But last year they changed it where we have to pay it by the 21st of December. So that's where you saw last year, Matt, at the end that we were doubling up on expenditures for BWC because we paid 19s in 19, but then we had to pay for 20s in 19 as well. These are still, we're still having that quandary that we've discussed in this area. I had a lengthy discussion with the director Monday when we were making adjustments to his POs and requisitions. We are going to meet again January 4th with his staff to get this under control and it being deposited in the correct areas, or at least we're going to attempt to. Because I received it again Monday, and we're not, it's not being recorded properly for the checks and balances to work.
Okay.
So I was expecting this because of not having mayor's court. With not having mayor's court, you know, those that were already scheduled were put off, but with the officers having to send everything up to the county during that time when we weren't allowed to have a mayor's court, I was expecting to be down a little in that area.
Okay. All right. Hey, I have one question. It's not really an issue, but it's a pretty big number up there. The 512,000 on the income tax payment. So our year-to-date receipts right now about 3.9 million, a little over 3.9 million. That's kind of where we revised our budget, isn't it?
Yes. So
do you expect them
there?
Yeah.
We are actually have the report. Um, for December, what we received in December, we can add $286,602.29 to this 3.9 amount.
Okay.
So we
That's good.
came in right where we were estimating.
Okay.
This number just has not been adjusted yet to that.
Yeah. So I think we budgeted next year for 4.1. So I think that's, I have a little bit more comfort level with that 4.1 number now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Kathy.
No,
I
you're
know we
fine.
jumped back.
No, that's okay. We haven't made the transfer for everything for income tax yet from JED to the general. So with that, we should be receiving overall roughly another 100,000 in there. So
Okay.
we're right with that one.
Excellent.
So that's revenues. Is there any particular one you want to drill down to or anything?
No, I mean, at this point in time, I mean, we've kind of monitored it throughout the years, and nothing is too shocking. So, where we're under budget, we kind of understood and we kind of knew that. Where we're over budget, it was just a pleasant surprise, and I think we've accounted for it pretty well for 2021. So, the only open thing, I mean, you said you're going to do this is just to talk to Jim about the wastewater and the tap fees.
Yep.
So.
And before I submit the final adjustments to the county,
Mm-hmm.
I have to go through and adjust all of these to reflect more of what we were expecting. So you'll see in December those drop down.
Okay.
All
right. And will those adjustments have to go through council on an ordinance?
No.
Or no? Okay.
No.
All right.
Just expenditures. Okay. So this is up through November. Everything is in for November. There's nothing, we haven't did the adjustments from the salary line item into these others, but these negatives are included up in these lines here.
Okay.
Let's see, that's police. So if there's something you want to, and like these other small, well, that's not small, but some of the small negatives were part of the adjustments that you approved last night.
Okay.
And some of them I'm able to do without getting council approval as long as it's within the same series. So for a 3 to a 3, but what you guys see are the ones between series, like a 3 to a 4 or a 3 to 7.
Okay. Oh, well, and on the expense side, I mean, a lot of this stuff we've been monitoring throughout the year, and I think we overall have a comfort level of where we are with our expenses. I mean, for as much as we worked on the budget, it was kind of in our face a lot. So I don't know that I have any specific questions that, if there's anything you want to call out, we can talk about it, but I'll just let you call it out. Otherwise, we'll, we can take a look at the reports individually.
Okay. Nothing really that we haven't discussed or you haven't seen with those corrections, the end of the year corrections. It's in the storage. I didn't put those on the desk. Sorry, Karen was asking about something sitting on my desk.
Tell her she asks about it. She's got to handle it.
She just has to walk to the storage closet and get it. No, not really. I mean, everything is, we've hashed it out.
Okay.
Numerous of times, we'll say.
All right.
No. Nothing outstanding. With the new program, though, like I was talking with you, Ryan, we're going to be able to monitor a lot of this better.
Yeah.
And send it back and say, nope, we need more detail. So we're able to know what is it's actually being spent on, rather it just say, like we were looking at the police capital outlay last night before the meeting. And all it says is capital improvements. We'll be able to go back, and actually you guys as council will be able to see that as well. If you have questions, if you're bored some night and need to go to sleep, you'll have access to everything that we have. You won't be able to change it, of course, but you will be able, if you have a question, what is this 21,000 for in police capital? You'll actually be able to go and view the invoice. So you'll be able to see everything that we see. All the invoices will be there, the purchase orders, approval. I don't know if you'll be able to see the back and forth that we do.
Yeah.
Before it's approved, but it's you'll be able to have your finger on the pulse, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that will be very helpful, and I'm sure with that access to information, it'll turn around and help you guys also.
Yes. Well, it will save us a lot of time of going and looking, finding the check number, pulling that up, finding the vendor, and then going and pulling that information. It's going to be literally at our fingertips.
Yeah, good deal. All right.
Other than that, that's all I had for tonight.
Okay.
Going over this. So what we're working on is I have to get the adjustments done that you guys approved last night, and send those amendments and everything to the county for this year's budget. Filling out their spreadsheets with 2021's budget and getting that to the county. The gentleman doing our gap conversion should have everything he needs. So it may be, I would say they probably won't come in next week, but it may be the last week of the year and they decide to come in and do our audit for 19. I would be more than ecstatic to get some of these boxes out of my office. We have I won't say a timeline, but we have the procedures and the process from BSNA already as to how the work is going to flow.
That was one thing I was going to ask you. What kind of when does that project really kick off for you and your team?
he was submitting it to the implementation team, and it's
Mhm.
either late second quarter or early third quarter. He hasn't given me an exact date yet.
Yeah. Okay.
We've already started making our list of things that we want to make sure are answered, and as far as procedural things,
Mhm.
hey, this isn't happening now. You said it could. We want to make sure that we touch base with those kind of things. We've started our
Yeah.
cleanup to get things in the right order. So right now, these numbers that you guys see, these are all expenditure numbers.
Mhm.
They all start with 52. So this is the fund, the department, and the line item that was given. All of our receipts, fund, there's no department or anything, and they all start with 41 and the line items that were given. This does not follow the format of the state chart of accounts.
Yeah.
So we will be converting to the state format, which basically it's fund. They call it purpose or program instead of department, and then object. You won't see these 52s any longer. And all 100 and 200s are personnel. Right now, the 300s and 400s could be, the 300s are supposed to be contractual services. They might be contractual, they might be under operating supplies, things like that. So we are cleaning that. We're going to clean that up, make it state format acceptable. And they are going to do the crosswalk for us. So we can still have our data and type in what we need to type in, but it will take us to the history. And that is all part of the conversion, no extra expenditure for that.
Yeah.
Previous conversions that I've done, that crosswalk, because it's quite intensive, has been an extra expenditure, but they consider that part of the conversion.
Yeah, I would going through many projects that I've done at work, I would make sure you get that list of what I would call upgrades, but maybe process improvements that you guys are looking for. Make sure you get that in their hands as soon as possible, and as often as possible, to make sure it stays it stays on their radar so it doesn't get overlooked.
Yes.
You don't want to get too far down this project and you bring a couple things to their attention and then say, "Oh, sorry, we're kind of past that point of development." So
luckily, this is my fourth conversion I'll go through. So
well, then you should know.
Yeah, I have a little bit of experience with it. But, other than that, I mean, that's what we're working on. The HR portion of the office, Brian's working on getting that wellness equipment that we were able to purchase. Now that they've decided they're going to put it in the North Conference Room, he's getting the layout, because we're still using that conference room for training as well. So the equipment has to be strategically placed to fit and not disrupt other activities that will be going on in there. So he's working on that. Karen's just plugging away at getting all the checks and everything out that need to go out before the end of the year.
All right.
and helping me with the end of the year procedures. So.
All right. So Well, good deal. I don't really have any other questions.
Okay.
Good.
Matt, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
He's tired.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I'm good. I was curious about the timeline of when the project would be kicking off. I would, the only thing I would say is question that is what does that do? What kind of timing does that run up against on your county budget?
County budget?
Yeah. Isn't that
They
due in
are
July?
estimating 5 to 6 weeks of implementation.
Mm-hmm.
For that portion.
Yeah.
So county budget will still be doing by hand, I do believe, because that has to be in, depending upon if they start in the second quarter or the third. If they start in the second quarter, we might hit that tip where we can do it in the new system. If they do it in the third, it's due July 15th. So, you guys have to approve it by July 15th. So we'll be doing the same as before.
All right.
As far as county.
Okay.
So,
all right.
With that being said, even though we just finished, county budget, I've always done based on the history and where we think we're going. I'd like to get that a little more concrete, so we're doing less adjustments in the end. Any suggestions as to how involved do you want to be in that? I mean, before it was just me.
Well, and you've done such a wonderful job with it. But no, that is kind of my question about asking about the time frame of the implementation. How does that time frame compare with what the county budgets do? Because I know we've talked about you want to change the process on the county budget and, like you said, get it more concrete. I think you want to get more involvement from the directors on that budget that hasn't happened in the past. I'll leave that decision in your hands on how you want that process to go. Okay. Because I don't want to commit to, bringing the directors in and making a big production of getting that budget done while you're in the middle of this implementation. I think that would be a lot to take on. My opinion would be to let the process go next year as it kind of did this year. I know it's not where you want to get it to, but I think the ultimate goal is ensuring that we get this system up and running. So in future years, it makes everyone's lives a little bit easier. And then maybe the following year we can go with the county. That's just strictly my opinion. If you see an opportunity to go a different direction, that's fine with me also.
Okay.
So.
All right. That sounds good.
But I just want to make sure we're not overcommitting you and your team, with a lot of things going on at the same time.
That works. All right. Well, that's all I have for this evening.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. Kathy, thank you for all your efforts this year. Karen, I don't know if you're still in the background. Thanks. You've been a lot at the finance committee meetings also, so thank you for your effort and the rest of your team there. I know you guys have worked hard and, you guys have been fighting an uphill battle, so we certainly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and you're able to spend some time with your families.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey,
All right.
all
Thanks,
right.
Drew.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
All right.